Hey, welcome back everybody to the Bad Samaritan Podcast. Your host here, Chava. On the line, we got our co-host, Sam. How you feeling, baby?
What up? What up? I'm feeling good, bro. 4-0. I'm getting
4-0.
flashbacks of uh of a couple years ago. I don't want to say it, but it's feeling good right now.
Yeah, no, it's feeling great. This week against the Cardinals, I think our team, we showed our best offensive football I think we've seen. Um, just as a collective, it looked really good. I'm really impressed. Let's start off with the offense. I'm gonna drop some stats real quick, and I want you to kind of talk on them. Brock Purdy, 283 passing yards for a touchdown. This guy is this guy just young, good Kirk Cousins?
Oh man, I don't. I mean, I haven't seen young Kirk Cousins stats from his Washington days, but I think the little narrative I've been seeing around about Brock actually being like a silent assassin, the guy's definitely earning his chops, man. I think in football how it goes. It's like, oh, you're a system quarterback. You're just lucky to have a great coach. I think even you have to agree that Kyle Shanahan's a great coach and he's putting teams in good positions to win. But I was laughing at that meme that was going around from the Diary of a Wimpy Kid that just outlines all the quarterbacks that Kyle's had. If you guys haven't seen it, check it on Twitter or TikTok. And they're all singing the choir, and you're going through Nick Mullins, you're going through C.J. Beathard, you're going through
Josh Rosen,
Josh
bro.
Rosen,
Josh Rosen.
and you get Brock in there, and the reality is that despite whatever the system is, you still need a guy to come in here and execute. And that's what Brock's doing, and he's doing it at a high level, man. He's making the reads, he's doing the throws. There's so much content out there nowadays of people breaking down film and showing where the reads are supposed to be. As a fan, it's really hard for us to know like all the intricacies of what pass protection looks like, of what the reads are supposed to be, if whether or not the players are on the routes. But honestly, man, you see this guy out there, and not just in the Cardinal game, but over the last 4 weeks in this last month of football, the guy's doing well at picking up the blitz. He's doing well at making quick decisions. In this past game, he made some beautiful, deep passes down to Aiyuk. I mean, I think he had just one incompletion that he had in this past game.
Yep.
The kid is playing his butt off. I think Bill Parcells, if you guys know who that is the old coach from New York Giants and the Dallas Cowboys. He didn't want superstar diva quarterback coming out of college. He wanted 3-year starters. And I know we've had offline conversations about the value of being in a system and actually playing football in college. And I think Brock's showing that, man. Like he looks good out there. I think so much about like, the labels of what happens when a quarterback comes in at a college, right? And it's like, oh, like are they top, first, second, or third round pick? How big is the school? And I think about, in your own workplace, right? Like, oh, what university did you graduate from, right? Like how much education do you have? Like what is your pedigree? And the reality is that Brock's coming in here and he's winning games. He's got the buy-in from the team. He's spreading the ball around. I mean, last week we didn't have Brandon Aiyuk. We had Ronnie Bell step in. This week we have, I think, Willie Snead and got some touches. I mean, obviously, you can make the argument that this team has an embarrassment of riches at the weapon position, but he still has to get the ball out. And Brock is doing it at a high level. And, I got full faith in him. And I'm going to be one of those guys that says, shoulda, coulda, woulda. If Hassan Reddick does not break Brock's Purdy's elbow, I think we're in the Super Bowl, and I think we have 6, and we're talking about going for 7. But I'm
Yeah,
all in on Brock Purdy.
yeah. I'm with you, man. I'm all in on Brock Purdy. This kid, he just shown us since he started that he knows how to make the right decisions. He doesn't do anything flashy, anything super crazy. He does have some little spurts of like, oh my god, that was super athletic. But this kid's mostly like what I see out there is he's reading the field and he's like choosing right every time. It's so crazy, and his ball placement, his accuracy, it's amazing compared to the past quarterbacks we had. It's like Jimmy Garoppolo or Trey Lance. This guy puts balls into like safe pockets where only our receivers can catch them. This game was a great example. A beautiful game for Brandon Aiyuk comeback, and we'll get to him in a second. Every ball thrown to him was specifically catered towards Brandon Aiyuk, and a lot of his receivers can probably see the same thing. He gets the ball where it's supposed to be, keeps it safe, and keeps his offense going. But enough on
Yeah, there
Brock.
was that one throw. the one last thing on that. There was that one throw to BA, I think, it was like going towards the north side of the end zone. I
Mm-hmm.
think I don't know what the coverage was, but there was for sure safety help where the corner just like totally got turned around. I mean, there's definitely an aspect of luck to some of these deep passes, but I just love the fact that he's got the confidence in himself and in his player to just throw it up there.
Yeah,
And so often, I think I saw it with I know it's a college game, but I think I was watching my boy Shadur Sanders on the Colorado Buffaloes, and he holds on to the ball too long. And sometimes when you're at the fourth down or in any big down, sometimes you got to throw the ball up there and let your boys take a pass at it. You never know if you're going to get a pass interference or something. And in that specific play, Brandon Aiyuk made a great play on the ball, and I think it was like a 40-yard gain. And
mm-hmm.
I just love that Brock has the confidence in himself and in his team, and that his receivers and that his running backs and all the weapon guys are kind of like playing hard for him. And
Yeah, that's
I
something.
think that speaks a lot to the team, and I think that's what's going to carry us far into late into the season.
Yeah, that's something not spoken much in the media or anywhere else. Is it looks like Brock Purdy really has great chemistry with all his offensive weapons. Um, like even if he's in tight situations, he trusts his guys to be there to make the catch. Even going back to the Steelers when he threw that right in the breadbasket for Brandon Ayuk, he just trusts that his guys are
That was a tough big time throw, man.
but he trusted
And
his
he did
guy,
it
you know.
again. Right, and he did the same throw with Deebo against the Giants, and I just think it's I used to never like or appreciate it when they would say, oh, Alex Smith is a dink and dunk quarterback, because he would make some big throws too. But
Yeah,
Brock is definitely like, I can tell he feels like a kid to me that's definitely studying what he needs to do. He's definitely executing what he's being coached on, and I think overall, like if we can stay healthy and protect him, like there's not much that really stands out and concerns me about him and his talents. Like he seems like he understands exactly what it is that Kyle Shanahan's asking him to do,
yeah,
and
and
it's
he can
just
do it
refreshing to see that after so many seasons.
after so many years. But enough on Brock. He's doing great. Um, we're gonna give him his flowers every week. And we're also gonna give flowers to this special guy, Christian McCaffrey, dude. Wow. Oh my God. This guy has been. It's so crazy to me. Last year, looking at this trade, we were like, oh no, like we're giving so much up, we're giving so much money. Is he gonna stay healthy? Yada yada yada. And this kid, it looks like he's in love in being back in the Bay Area. This kid's over here hopping over dudes, just scoring touchdowns after touchdowns, running through fools' faces. I'm shell shocked whenever I see him go like bust out in the daylight. I'm like, Jesus Christ, this guy is crazy. He got three touchdowns this game, and only rushed for 106 yards, which it's a lot. And he had 20 touches. That to me, that's exactly what I want out of this guy. I love that Kyle Shanahan didn't run him as much. No 25. I want to keep it below 20, but I'll take 20 compared to last week too. Um, CMC is looking great. The run game, chef's kiss. Kyle's doing something crazy this season. What do you think?
Yeah, man. I think if anyone's got access to our archives, and they'll know that I was calling for the CMC trade before we played the Panthers last season, and I knew I was like, you know what, we got to blow these guys out, got to get them out of playoff contention, and see if we can take CMC for scraps. And the rest is history, man. I think week 1 or 2 we were stressing about or complaining about the lack of rotation in the running back position. Kyle's definitely addressed that. I really appreciate. One quick shout out to Elijah Mitchell. I know the guy's been hurt. I hope he can get healthy. I wish the cap could work out that we could just literally shelve him for a year. I think he needs to just really recover and allow his body to adjust. The guy is a very physical back despite his size, and I really hope that he can get healthy enough to get back on the field for us. And I just really appreciate that Kyle is like, he's actually like, I remember Mike Singletary years where I'd be frustrated at the fact that we were making second half adjustments. Kyle Shanahan week to week is making the roster adjustments, the personnel percentage adjustments, and in game every quarter is making every necessary adjustment. The fact that he recognizes even from preseason that TDP cannot pass protect or cannot catch out of the backfield, and just gave those snaps and those reps to JP Mason speaks a lot to me. I love that we, despite having a superstar back in Christian McCaffrey, that we honestly haven't had in quite some time. Like I know that Frank Gore was fantastic. I love that guy, Frank the Tank. But the talent level that Christian McCaffrey has, the explosiveness is definitely and clearly on a different level. And I like how angry and physical this guy runs. It's very, I just can't explain it. He just brings like a different spark. And I like that Kyle is aware enough to know that we need to rest him, to sub him out. And I think if anything, it's pissing Christian McCaffrey off so that when he does get his reps, he's trying to break it. Because you don't
Yeah.
just get 4 touchdowns from executing a system. He wants to win. He's tired of taking all these L's in Carolina. He doesn't like how last season worked out. He hears everybody talking about him being injury prone and all this and that. And I think our draft grade for him was like a C minus, or I'm sorry, our trade grade for him was like a C minus.
Mm-hmm.
And I just really appreciate the effort this guy's putting out there. Um, I think there was a comment out there that Kyle should have let him get the 5th touchdown. Kyle, I guess, from what the post game and some of the other interviews say, is that he doesn't allow the staff to give him any of these stats to influence him. He
Mm-hmm.
has like his own little zen way of executing his game plan. But ultimately, I think I agree that all that matters is that we win. But I like the way the team's doing it. I like that it focuses on the run game. It's going to help us up against some of these past rush dominant teams. And I like that we're spelling C-Mac just enough to give him some rest and getting the other guy some reps.
Yep. I love what we saw this week. Again, going back to how this just how you're talking, how this team has been adapting and have been learning on itself game after game, quarter after quarter, minute after minute. It's been the first season where I really feel that Kyle Shanahan is listening to me, bro. Like I'm like, man, like last game I was like, dude, I'm tired of seeing Christian McCaffrey on the field. Like I'm getting PTSD, like my anxiety's going through the roof, and I can't take it anymore, even though how great it is. And then this game he was like, all right, bro, shut up. Here's JP, you know? Here's Deebo for a
Yeah,
run.
it's it's
Here's
it's
like
uh it's it's exactly what we want. And like in this week, I know Deebo was kind of hurt, so we were just kind of using him as a decoy.
yeah,
Totally fine with that.
me too.
I just when you have a team that's constantly in the playoffs every season, you have those additional games. Like there's just gonna be wear and tear. Like
Mm-hmm.
these guys are animals. They're beasts. They want to compete, and I think you have to protect them from themselves. And so I really appreciate that a month into football, this team is 4-0, and I feel like Kyle has a sustainable plan of how to keep this team going well into January and hopefully in February. But
Yep.
we'll see.
Yeah. Just wrapping up on the offense. I'm proud of these guys. I'm proud of our O line. I'm proud of the run game. Kyle's doing it. This is happening. It's real. It's here. We here. Play the theme music. But
Yep. Play that theme music. Bro, I think my last bit on the offense is I also want to just give flowers to John Lynch and the staff for
of
definitely
course,
developing a wide receiver room that
that rivals
I'll
the
be
league.
honest. I haven't been watching as much football as I used to watch, but I love how these guys on the outside pass block and run block for the guy behind them. And
It's gritty as fuck, man. It's
that
crazy.
that 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 effort, I think you can definitely coach it, but a lot of it is a toughness and is a persona that you take on, and I don't remember seeing that being executed at this level with any previous team,
Mm-mm.
any under coach that we've had. Even under Harbaugh, who was a great running, had a great running offense. What I'm seeing from the receivers in terms of the downfield blocking and the creation of space, that really excites me about the playoffs because you know how it comes down to the winner and those late season games. It's like you gotta be able to run the ball. And what he's doing, what we talked about in terms of rotation of the backs, how that little orchestration that's happening between them, the line, and the receivers on the outside, that bodes well for us. So I'm surprised that I'm just really pleased with where we've been at. And I know this is just sounding like a circle jerk, but I honestly, on the offensive side of the ball, we have officially made the transition from being a defensively dominant team to becoming the offensive dominant team. When
Yep.
we have the ball in offense, I am honestly not concerned that we aren't going to score.
Nope. And that's a great transition into the defense because I feel the same way. I don't really I'm not on pins and needles on offense anymore. And now that feeling is almost, it's creeping up on the defense. And this week was it was a really weird show for our defense. I don't think they gave anything up. We have one sack recorded. That was Javon Hargrave, and we put a lot of pressure on young boy Dobbs. But they were getting the ball out quick. I always think that the Cardinals offense knows, you know, kind of our Achilles heel, so to say. They get a quick run game. They got the screens, the quick passes, and they know how to chip away at our defense. And our defense almost gave it up. Not really gave it up, but they were showing that they were flawed, and the cracks were showing, and it was almost I was not really impressed of the tape that we put out there, especially in the defensive line. What do you think?
Yeah, honestly, I think we're ranked number 7 overall
Hmm.
coming out of this week. I think what really kind of hurt my feelings was the 99-yard drive that the Cardinals had on us.
Yeah.
Those guys get paid too. I mean, this isn't Madden. We can't expect these guys to shut everybody out.
No.
But I think I'm definitely sensing um, the learning curve that's happening between D'Amico and Wilkes,
Yeah.
and I I'm a little disappointed. I would honestly say, in terms of the fact that we did get the big D tackle signing and Hargrave. It does look like Javon Kinlaw looks healthier.
Hmm.
Bosa got his money, and not just whatever salary cap aside, but he has had no injuries. He typically always comes back stronger. Armstead, I don't know if he had anything that he was dealing with. Drake Jackson had what looked like a good off season, but it feels like this team is not they're not doing bad.
No. No. No.
They're performing well as a defense,
Yeah.
but it doesn't feel like they're clicking at the highest cylinder yet, and
Mm-mm.
that's okay. It's only been a month of football. I think there's a lot of football ahead of them. I love the energy around Fred and Greenlaw and even Burks. I think the backs are doing well.
Yeah.
My
I
main
think
concern on
performing
defense is
good.
honestly that corner position. Um, Anything that's not Travarius Ward is a little concerning. There seems to be a lot of underneath stuff, but I can't tell if it's the personnel talent or if it's the way the scheme is going. But honestly, we're nitpicking at this point. We're 4-0, but I think what we're getting at is as we get deeper into the season and we deal with some of these teams that can run the ball. I feel like the teams in the past month have had some success moving the ball on us on the ground, and I'd like to see us tighten that up a little bit. I think we're getting a little bit too lax, and we got to get some more of those tackles for loss in the backfield, and make sure that teams know that they cannot move the ball on us on the ground, and that typically will bode well for us in the postseason because if we can't stop them now, it's only going to get harder to do so in December. So whatever we're putting on tape, I think that's stuff that teams are circling, and I'm expecting to see a little bit more of that this upcoming weekend with the Cowboys.
Yeah, just to touch on the corners, as you were saying, today we have an injury report on Travarius Ward. TBD, nothing really released yet, but he was not practicing, and it does worry me because those corner positions are so volatile. I I think we're having the inverse problem with our offense and our defense in these past years, where let's say previous years before, our offense would it would start off very slow and cold, and it would grow in the game, and we would start scoring points in the later half. And this defense this year is having that problem where it's giving up points in the first half, in the first quarter. It just doesn't look like the scheme or anything is sinking until the second half. Like we remember in the in the Rams game, we the whole first half and even in the third quarter, you and me were just yelling at Demo Lenore and Oliver, and we're like, oh my god, this is terrible, yada yada yada. And then at the end of the game, what happens? They get a pick. The scheme finally clicks. They get a pick and they close out the game, and that's fine. I think that that does mean that we're a good defense, but when it comes to those teams that are higher caliber, like the Chiefs, like the Dolphins, like the Eagles, like these teams that really put points on the board and put the pressure on us, um, that just spells trouble for me. And I wish we could just fix that little niche problem for for to to win in the playoffs or to get deep.
Agreed.
But I guess that's really much it with the defense. Special teams, I um I have no real complaints. I do have one complaint of the kickoff out of the bounds. That's just maybe it was just a shank, maybe it was slipping off the tee. Stuff like that can't happen, especially in big games where we need that field position. We don't want our opposing team on the 40. And if they're at the lead and we're kicking off and we can't stop that run game, that's very crucial for us. But Moody's out here making his field goals, looking like Money Moody. That's pretty much it for the Cardinals game. That's all I got.
Yeah,
Sam?
I think between Moody and Mastowski, I think the kicking and punting game is looking good. I always feel like the a Super Bowl team always has a little bit of magic on special teams. It's like underappreciated. I know they've been moving the rules around to kind of reduce the impact of that group
Mm-hmm.
on the game, but I want to keep us working on field position. I see they've made some roster moves to move guys that are making penalties and whatnot on those drives. Because we're going to get to a point where the offense might stall and want a new field position, but I don't think honestly over the past month there's been much need for concern. I
No.
think during the preseason we're all worried about some missed kicks and some hiccups in operation. I think a lot of us were concerned about Robbie Gould leaving. We don't want to end up like the Chargers or a lot of other teams that are one quick kick away from winning a ship or getting into the next round. I got some faith in Money Moody. It's not easy to do what he's doing, and honestly, I think just getting one or two little explosive plays would definitely help the confidence of that unit. But there's nothing really to complain about there.
Awesome. Well, that was the Cardinals. Let's flash forward into the future really quick and let's talk about Sunday. Our opponents, the Dallas Cowboys, America's failure. Um, their
Hey
defense.
man, that's America's team, bro. Put some respect on them.
Yeah.
Everybody loves them. Everybody loves to watch them lose. So sexy stat for this segment for sure is the 49ers and the Dallas Cowboys are 19, 19, and 1. So this weekend on, I believe, Sunday Night Football, correct me if I'm wrong, will be the tiebreaker all time for these two teams. Um,
Let's go.
how do you feel about it?
Um, I feel like it's the same thing every year with these Cowboys, man. I think they're going to be our toughest opponent yet, which is exciting. I want to see how this offense goes against that defense because, not gonna lie, they're very good. Um, they turn the ball over, something that our offense hasn't done. They put constant pressure on the quarterback, which we did face with the Giants, but we didn't face anybody at the end position like Michael Parsons, who's probably going to line up on the right side and beat up whatever Colton McKivitz or whoever is out there trying to block him, and we're going to get sacked. Um, so it's going to be a fun game. I am not scared at all at their offense. I think this is hopefully a point where our defense shines. I think what the Dallas Cowboys do to win, and they've beaten these bad teams these first four games. But what they do is they hide away Dak Prescott and try to score with their defense or try to get flashy on their special teams, and they do their best to keep the ball out of Dak Prescott's hand, which is alarming if you're a Cowboys fan. But I love it because I hope we can score quick and we can get our defense out there for the whole game, and we can just really see what our defense is made of and really show the NFL that these Dallas Cowboys ain't shit. Yeah.
Language to quote Captain America. Honestly, like I don't know, it's crazy. I'm 32 years old. I'm so tired of the Dallas Cowboys. Um, I don't know, man. Like in the last couple of playoff games, we've owned them. We've denied them championships. I don't know. I'm not as hyped for this game as I've been in years past. I think you touched on something that I'm actually really interested in, and I want to see the defense take the next step. I want to see us really execute whatever it was that Wilkes is trying to bring to this team. I want to see us flush Dakota reigning Prescott.
Dakota Range Prescott.
Yes, I want to see us fluster this guy the same way he was flustered in his little conference this last week when asked about us. They're a great team. We're a good team. We're probably going to see them in the playoffs. The pathway is probably going to go through them or us or the Eagles at this point. And the reality is, though, is that we've had the number the last couple of seasons, and there's no debating it. There's no need to sugarcoat it. Um, they're a great defense. They're going to really be rushing after Purdy. But honestly, after what I saw in the Giants game, like I'm not concerned about it. I think Purdy's getting the ball out quick. I spent like 15 minutes at the beginning of the cast giving Purdy his flowers. I expect us to have a very run dominant offensive game plan, getting the ball out quick, probably a lot of screens, probably a little quick slants, maybe a deep pass down the middle with Kittle. But
Maybe.
I'm hoping to not see any deep 7-step drops. I want to see how we push on their defense. But I really, 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 really want to see my defense make Dakota take and make the big throws.
Of course.
I just, to me, that team is a front running team. If they can get ahead early, they don't give up a lead. And I just don't see them doing that against us. I do see them moving the ball against us. We've been very bend but don't break on our defense. So it's going to be a great matchup. It's Sunday Night Football. It's 49ers. It's the Cowboys. It's going to be much watch TV.
Of course. Well, this is going to be much watch TV too, hopefully, after that game. Hopefully, we don't get haters in the comments if we lose. And if we lose, it's all good. But that was the Bad Samaritan Podcast. I appreciate you, Sam, for making time to go on this call. And thank you, everybody, for listening. And everybody have a good night.
See you next week, babe.